You know, debt can feel like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper the sink. For some entrepreneurs, it's the reason they stay stuck, stressed, and broke. But here's the truth: debt itself isn't always the enemy, it's how you use it. The difference between good debt and bad debt can be the difference between building wealth and going broke. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot the difference and how to use debt as a tool to grow your business instead of seeing it as a trap that keeps you stuck. You know, when I first started my business, I was terrified of debt. I avoided it completely because all I heard was how dangerous it was. But I quickly learned that there is a difference. You know, some debt is toxic and keeps you stuck, but there's other debt that when it's used correctly, it can actually accelerate your growth. The turning point was learning to evaluate debt, not emotionally, but strategically, looking at whether it creates income or if it drains it. Here's a few business coaching tips that I want to share with you today, and hopefully you can get some value out of one of them that you can begin incorporating into your strategy today. So business coaching tip number one is bad debt keeps you stuck, okay? Bad debt is any debt that doesn't produce income. It drains your resources and keeps you on a treadmill. Common examples are credit card balances from lifestyle spending, high interest personal loans, or borrowing money with no clear plan to pay it back. And the way to handle bad debt is to first identify it clearly, right? Pull up all of your accounts, write down the balances, interest rates, and what the debt was used for. Now, if it didn't help you create income or acquire an asset, then that's bad debt, right? So then you want to put together a repayment plan, whether it's snowballing, and a snowballing is a strategy for debt repayment where you tackle the smallest balances first, or you can choose to use the avalanche method, which is where you tackle the highest interest rates first. Here, the key is to stop adding to it and commit to paying it down aggressively. You know, I went to work with a client who was carrying about $12,000 in credit card debt, most of it from day-to-day spending. She was paying the minimum balance each month and watching the interest pile up. What we did is we created a snowball strategy, okay? And this is a plan where we started with the smallest balance first. And within 14 months, she was completely debt-free, and she told me that she finally got a sense of freedom. And it's a feeling that she hadn't felt in a very long time. The relief that she felt was like a weight off her shoulders. Now, isn't that something to finally have that feeling of relief and a weight off your shoulders? And that's possible for you as well. Now let's go to business coaching tip number 2. Good debt creates leverage. So there is such thing as good debt. Let's get into it. Good debt is strategic. It creates income or helps you acquire assets. So let's say, for example, financing equipment, right? This is going to allow you to take on bigger jobs, right? And a loan to invest in your inventory that you can resell, right? So, or maybe even a mortgage on a property that produces rental income. See, this type of debt multiplies your money instead of draining it. That's what we're looking for here. The key with good debt is to be intentional. Before you take on a loan or a line of credit, map out how it will increase your revenue or your assets. And ask yourself, what's the return here? How long will it take for me to pay this back, right? And then get profit back from it, right? Can this investment pay for itself and continue to generate income after after the debt is gone. So if you can't answer those questions, it's probably not good debt. One client took out a $20,000 small business loan to purchase specialized equipment, and that investment doubled his capacity, allowed him to take on larger contracts, and increased his revenue by $8,000 per month. So that way, within 4 months, the debt was really paid for itself, and by the end of the year, he was far ahead financially. See, that's a great example of how I want you to start thinking about your debt and really understanding the difference between good debt versus bad debt. And that leads me to business coaching tip number 3 for you. And that's always calculate the ROI. ROI meaning return on investment. The real difference between good and bad debt is ROI, return on investment. So if debt is going to make you money or build an appreciating asset, it may be worth it. Really consider it. But if it's only costing you money, then that's bad debt, right? So before you take on any debt, ask yourself, will this debt make me richer or poorer in the long term? So put numbers to it. So if you're thinking of borrowing, say, $10,000, outline exactly how it's going to generate income. Will it increase your sales? Will it reduce cost or create a new revenue stream? Also, too, is it an investment in yourself? Are you investing in yourself, maybe a coaching program, a course? And that way you can really quantum leap and save yourself so much failure by just working with someone that can support you to get there faster. See, these are all ways how you can increase your ROI, your return on investment. So if you can't answer that question, right, if it's not really something that you can see that's going to return an ROI, the answer is fuzzy, you're not sure, then don't take it. If the math shows a clear path to profit, then it can be strategic. Okay? I had a client who wanted to use a $15,000 credit line to launch a new product. And at first it sounded risky, but when we ran the numbers and really took a look at the numbers, the projected sales from just the first 6 months were expected to generate $40,000. And he moved forward, and by month 8, he had fully paid off the debt and was generating recurring sales. So the key was doing the math before jumping in and making sure it was aligned with his strategic plan. So now let's put these concepts into action. I know there's a lot of information that I just threw at you, but now let's make this practical and how you can use this in your life. Let's talk about your action steps from this coaching session. So here's what I want you to do. List out all your debts, label each one of them as good or bad based on whether it creates income or just costs you money. Then pick one bad debt and make a plan to tackle it starting this month. So in conclusion, bad debt drains you, but good debt grows you. And the return on investment is the dividing line between good debt and bad debt. So when in doubt, identify if you have an ROI, if you have a return on investment. Okay, so use debt strategically, and it becomes a tool instead of a trap. Inside my Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy, I'm going to show you how to eliminate bad debt while leveraging good debt to grow your business and build long-term wealth. The link is in the description box below. Go ahead and check it out if you'd like to continue to work closer with me. And thanks for watching this video. If you got any value from this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's going to benefit from this business coaching. It's really going to help the algorithm so that more people can take advantage of this information that's available for them. Now, if you've ever struggled with how to pay yourself from your business, you will want to miss this next video. It's called How to Pay Yourself First. Click here to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Oceans of love. Till next time.